The following program is a production of the Stormfront Freaks Network.
Hey, Storm Freaks! A bill has now passed the House of Representatives in Oklahoma, allowing a small group of storm chasers to legally ignore traffic laws in that state. We have storm chaser Jordan Hall and legislative expert Dan Williams here to discuss it. We've also got Weather Fools, a visit from Weather Trollbot, and more, all on episode 232 of the Stormfront Freaks podcast!
Going green.
Greenwich.
Saddle them up.
You got it, boss.
Hey everyone, welcome to the most entertaining weather podcast. This is the award-winning Stormfront Freaks podcast brought to you by our Patreon team. Thanks to all of our Patreon teammates that are currently scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Join today at patreon.com/stormfrontfreaks and get access to watch our live recordings of the show and join in on our chat. You can become a supporting teammate, get this, for as low as $5 a month. We also have tiers that include exclusive merchandise. You can also join our team and support our content, again, at patreon.com/stormfrontfreaks. And now it's time, and this is the first time I've got a chance to experience it, freaks, so this should be a lot of fun for me. Time now to find out who's here and to give our wicked weather report.
Storm leaves 42 dead across 9 states. I'm former TV meteorologist. I almost said chief, and I'm like, I can't say chief.
I mean,
anyway, exactly. Hey, I'm former TV meteorologist Mark Mazmassara reporting. A cross-country storm turned deadly over the March 14th, 15th, and 16th weekend, killing at least 42 people across 9 states in the United States. NOAA's Storm Prediction Center logged over, get this, 970 severe weather reports, including nearly 90 tornadoes. 3 were rated EF4. Missouri reported 12 deaths, while Kansas saw 8 after a dust storm sparked a pileup on Interstate 70. Alabama and Arkansas faced brutal twisters, with homes flattened and schools wrecked. Wildfires in Oklahoma and a blizzard in Nebraska rounded out the chaos. Cleanups underway, but forecasters say another storm's brewing for this week. Phil?
I heard Nebraska in there. Hey, so Florida's freak hailstorm smashes records. I'm storm chaser Phil Johnson. Hey, Central Florida, they got a rare battering March 25th as a severe thunderstorm unleashed hail up to 3 inches wide. Think baseballs near Orlando. Cars were dented, windows smashed, and damage estimates are now climbing past $100 million. And this echoes a 1992 storm that hit even harder. The Weather Channel says it's the state's costliest hail event in decades, with 18 big hail reports since 1950. Twitter posts show stranded drivers and piled up ice, which is wild for a state that's usually dodging hurricanes, not hailstones. Serena, over to you.
all right. Yeah, that's a good one. Speaking of hailstones, there's going to be some great storms in the Pacific Northwest. I'm really interested in having us talk about here in the future. But for right now, Texas faces some rare March snow and ice chaos. I'm meteorologist and author Serena Arnold. Ooh, I like the ring. That was almost like a special ring for me. I don't know what that was, but I'll take it. Texas got a shock this week when a rare late March cold snap brought snow and ice from all the way in the Texas Panhandle all the way down to Dallas. Starting on March 23rd, a plunging Arctic front dropped up to 6 inches of snow in Amarillo, and it coated roads with ice as far south as Austin, you guys. National Weather Service issued ice storm warnings, which is unheard of for this late in the season, after crashes piled up on I-35, including a 20-car wreck near Waco. At least 2 deaths are linked to the mess. Power outages were over 50,000 homes. Lines snapped under the weight of the ice. Twitter posts were lighting up with pictures showing like snow-dusted cacti, but a lot of people aren't laughing. It closed schools, it grounded flights at DFW Airport. Luckily, though, temps could climb back into the 70s by Friday, melting this freak freeze fast. All right, on to Greg.
Yeah, this is an interesting story. New radar technology promises sharper storm warnings. I think all of us will be interested to hear about this. I'm storm chaser and photographer Greg Johnson. A weather tech breakthrough hit the scene March 20th with researchers unveiling a next-gen radar system called Mural, M-U-R-A-L, tested in Colorado. It uses multiple frequencies to spot tornadoes and hail up to 30 minutes earlier than current technology. The National Severe Storms Laboratory says it could cut false alarms by 20%, which is a big deal, especially after what happened last week with the deadly outbreaks in the southeast. Twitter chat is a little bit mixed. Some people are saying this is going to be a lifesaver, and others are saying, hey, with all these cuts that are coming to NOAA, maybe it's just a little bit too late. And that is the Wicked Weather Report. Now let's get to our guest this evening with our good friend Maz.
Oh, yeah. I love that song, by the way, just to let you know. Yeah, let's bring our guests in here. Hey, Jordan Hall. Jordan Hall is a storm chaser and multimedia journalist with Severe Studios and My Radar, and is an Oklahoma resident. Our second, Dan Williams, is a legislative expert with almost a decade of experience monitoring the Oklahoma Capitol and working campaigns across the country. Welcome, guys. I'm going to start off with Dan here for tonight. So, Dan, you got to bring us up to speed on this HB House bill. I'm just a bill. I'm only a bill, but now I'm a law. How did this thing get started in the first place?
Well, I can tell you it's not a law just yet. We still have to make it through the Senate here. Where this bill came from, it's been authored by Representative Scott Fettgatter from District 16. This district is in just south of Tulsa in the city and county of Okmulgee. Apparently the story goes that one of the lobbyists behind the bill, lobbyist Seth Rott, his cousin saw a storm chaser run a red light and brought this concern to this lobbyist and then to the representative about storm chasers and the general possibly running red lights or impeding traffic or causing accidents, right? So we got this law drafted, right? There's always a story. Right now, as the bill stands, it has passed the House, which is unfortunate it's made it this far, but we still have many steps to go. I would like to say that even though it did pass the House on yesterday, we got 45 no votes. And let me tell you, it is very rare for a bill to be scheduled for a hearing and to get that many no votes in the State House. Generally, they want to schedule bills that can sail right through. So,
sorry, Dan, 45 out of how many?
45 out of 99. Generally, there are 101 members of the State House, but there are 2 vacancies right now. 2 people resigned their positions before session to take different jobs, so there are 99 members currently.
So 45 of the 99, you're saying?
Yes, 45 out of 99 voted against.
Wow. Okay, so just under half then. What do you think the odds are of this now, going through with the Senate based upon, how quote unquote well it's done through the State House?
So as we've seen this bill develop and move through the process, when we first heard it in the policy committee back at the beginning of session around, I think around the 6th or 8th of February, it didn't any opposition. They just kind of passed it and sent it to oversight. And oversight, it faced a little bit more static, a couple of questions, right? Got 2 no votes there out of 15. But then on the House floor, there's question after question from Representative Gann. Representative McCain had a lot of questions about it, and, significant opposition to this bill. Now in the Senate, it has been co-authored by a senator named Mark Mann, who also had his own bill, Senate Bill 158, that seek to do similar things. However, his bill did not advance out of the Appropriations Committee, so he now is focused on carrying this bill, House Bill 2426, through the Senate, but we'll see how far that gets.
Has this been an issue? Okay, so somebody saw somebody run a red light. I see people running red lights all over Ohio, and it
happens all the time in Ohio.
It does. So I'm like, what? I'm still trying to figure out. And so this bill is brought by someone, and a senator also wanted to bring in what's with it all of a sudden happening.
Well, there we go, right? That's the official story, right? The unofficial story is that this is being pushed by Griffin Communications, which is the ownership of News Channel 9, right? There's the official story we always hear in legislation, and then there's the money at play, right? There's a common refrain in politics that you've got to follow money, and certainly that is something we have to look at here. If you look at Fetgatter or Mann's finance reports, you're not going to see David Payne or Val Castro showing up in donations, right? But there are ways to circumvent this. The PACs and super PACs you can go through, all that kind of stuff, and purely. From what we've been hearing, the storm chaser community, which I guess you can consider me very tangentially a part of. Let me tell you, when I see a tornado or any kind of storm cloud, I get in my Frady hole. Just going to be real with you.
Frady hole. Can we actually quote you on that?
Frady hole? Yeah, Frady hole. That's what us Oklahomans call them.
Hey, I gotta bring storm chaser Jordan Hall into the conversation. So, Jordan, if you had a 30 seconds in an elevator with a member of the legislature and you needed to give the elevator pitch as to why this is a bad idea, give us the storm chaser perspective in 30 seconds, and it's a loose clock.
Well, I can give you. I can tell you exactly what I told Fetgatter in his office and David Payne when I was in there with them.
Hey, it's a family show. Family show.
Yes. The first time this bill got pushed, they had the Emergency Vehicle Act in there and all the other things. And the biggest thing for me was the public safety aspect is already a threat with some of these media chasers that are out there. Obviously, we're seeing the lights getting ran and the stop signs getting blown, and so allowing that to happen more freely was a big issue for me. So standing on the elevator, if I was talking to somebody I wanted to vote no on it, at that time, I would have been really pushing the public safety thing. And today I'd still push it. But I do know there's been this whole bill had gotten stripped completely down and kind of rewritten. And that's something I think we'll talk about too, is how the meeting yesterday, majority of the people on the floor clearly didn't even read the new bill, because there was a lot of questions about things that weren't even in the bill anymore.
So in the situation where, like, I don't know if you guys can see, I'm wearing my Freedom shirt right now. Okay. So,
lucky Canadian, you.
Yeah, I'm lucky Canadian. But listen, you look at Oklahoma, you look at people come storm chasing from all over the planet in the springtime. They come down to Oklahoma to chase. Should anybody from another state, another country, anybody who's just a hobby storm chaser, somebody who has their camera and wants to go take pictures of lightning and tornadoes and anything that goes, the stuff that we all love, should they be concerned about going to Oklahoma? And I know this bill isn't supposed to take effect till like next year, but going forward here, should they be concerned about coming out to Oklahoma?
Is that a question for me?
Yeah, Jordan, for you.
I would say no. So I know this bill has been renamed. I don't know if we've seen the new name. It's Oklahoma Severe Weather Media Tracking and Research Regulatory Act of 2025. So it's not a storm chasing bill. It's a multimedia bill. It's a media bill for the media reporters. So as far as your hobbyists and your everyday storm chasers, as of right now, this doesn't affect you outside of a news chaser trying to pass you with lights on or blowing through a red light.
Okay, that kind of makes sense, because as I was reading through it, I'm trying to figure out, because it's like you can't use this for, you have to meet safety standards. They're gonna have to be licensed, but you also can't make money doing this, right? It's strictly for professional storm tracking, which must mean news and media, not for recreational or commercial storm chasing. So anyone who's out there just like as a YouTuber or whatever is not like, so this seems like what it's been boiled down to is really just media focus. So it's going to be giving just media chasers, right? Like the news crews, the ability to break selective laws. Is that kind of your understanding too?
Basically, yes. And also they made it to where you don't have to get a license. It's optional. So if you don't want to,
Oh, everyone gets licenses when they're optional. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love spending my money on
so-
something I don't need. Great.
They say it's media, but I think Dan will be able to touch on this too. It's FCC media, so they have to have be registered with an FCC.
So it can't be the Jordan Hall TV Association.
Even like My Radar doesn't have an FCC, so that's
Right.
where it's really murky when you have some of these app-based platforms as well on the digital.
Interesting.
platform.
Yeah, Dan, I'd love to hear more about that. Like with the FCC, how it is including just your standard like television meteorologists.
So, what this legislation does essentially is, in a legal term, it creates a protected class of people, right? And so, when we talk about creating a protected class, the law is setting aside a certain group of people to either have certain privileges or rights as opposed to the standard person, right? And the FCC, not the Federal Elections Commission, but the Federal Communications Commission, rather, carve out is specifically aimed at protecting legacy media, in my opinion. You know, I'll be honest with you. I don't know how FSC licensure works. That's not generally not my area of expertise. I mainly deal with elections and healthcare policy. But I'm operating under the assumption that somebody like Jordan or Reed Timmer or even the fine folks at Stormfront Freaks would probably not apply for FCC licensure, and thus it is a way to preclude people by giving a specific definition here.
So Dan, can you maybe, I guess, provide some clarity in what feels like muddy waters? What's the purpose? I mean, and it seems like it's changed from the original bill. Like, what is the problem that they're looking to solve by doing this?
Well, I gotta watch what I say here, but there's an old funny saying about the Oklahoma legislature that generally people are try to look for solutions to their problems. And the legislature likes to create problems for their solutions, right? they kind of work backwards. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've seen a bill authored that apparently is going to fix everything in the world, that then they have to come back in a year and they're like, oh, okay, so maybe it didn't fix everything.
Sorry, Dan, I don't think that's just Oklahoma.
Oh, sure. But a lot of the times it's a solution looking for a problem, right? There is maybe a perceived notion among the legislature or even just a single legislator of something happening, and they feel the need. If you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. They know how to write law, so they're going to write a law about it rather than trying to address it through some other means.
I appreciate the tactfulness with which you explained that. That's all I got to say.
Still got to keep the J down.
Well done. Well done.
So if it's a solution looking for a problem, let's jump out and say, let's talk about the money here for a minute, because that's kind of what's making the world go around here. Who pays the money? Where does the money go? And doesn't it? And I read it. It almost looked like it's available for other stuff.
Now, you're talking about the money for the licenses themselves?
Yeah.
Okay, so what this is essentially, this is classified as a fee in the legislature, and there's a very, very specific definition of a fee, right? It can't be a tax. Taxes have to be passed with 75% support in the Oklahoma legislature, so this is a fee. It's a licensure fee, right? So what happens is this bill codifies, a licensure fund to be set up, right? And any money raised by the selling of licenses, certification processes, will go into this fund, but that's also sort of not entirely accurate. The legislature generally operates off of everything goes into the general fund, right? You may have seen in some certain states that, if you buy a lottery ticket, your taxes go to education. That's true in the sense that they go to the general fund, which is appropriated to education, right? This is kind of the same deal. Whatever money you spend on the license will go towards the general fund and will be appropriated back out. Probably the same amount, probably similar amount, or maybe a little more. There's all sorts of debates about revenue matching all the time in the legislature through the Board of Equalization about how the fund will be supported. But it will go to the general fund. So technically, if you really want to do a little dollar tracking, if I bought a storm chasing license, which would be insane for me to do, it could go to buying Bibles in schools or something like that.
The one thing I'll jump in and say is Maz, figuring out, for example, how many licenses I didn't see it in the recent bill, but when they initially put the bill out, authored the bill out, it mentioned how many licenses they expected to do annually, and then how many renewals after that. And it was a drop in the bucket in regards to how much money this was going to bring in compared to the overall, operating budget of the state, which told me that this isn't the purpose of this is really not a money grab. It's not. Yeah,
it actually sounds like it's going to cost the state more than they would make off of it. To be honest with you,
I would agree with that.
Okay.
And the question I kind of piggyback off of that is, so we had a good panel a couple weeks ago, right? And we actually talked to a representative, and Jordan, I know you and Dan have been talking with that representative since then. Has that bill changed significantly since that talk, or since those? Has it improved? Has it not improved? The version that was just passed today, has there been any changes that we can point our hat to, that we can say, okay, this is a good change, this is a bad change? How has it changed since that discussion?
Do you want to touch on it first, Dan, or do you want me to touch on it?
Jordan, why don't you touch on that? I think you've seen a lot of that too.
Yeah, so I actually went into Fat Gatter's office with Seth and Eric Fox a few weeks ago, and we had rewritten everything that we wanted to be put in the rewording process of the bill. After we had sat down with them, basically the reason we did it was, if it's going to pass, it needs to be as watered down as humanly possible, so it really doesn't affect anybody, or that was the whole reason behind it. And if it was so watered down, maybe they won't even pass it anyway, because it's just so watered down. But that's where we had the emergency vehicle thing completely removed. Storm Tracker is classified as its own type of vehicle now, so it's no longer classified as an emergency vehicle. Then we added to where they cannot even activate lights or run red stop signs or anything unless there's a confirmed tornado or a tornado emergency currently, which really narrows it down to when they can really operate. So they can't be flying around in a severe thunderstorm warning or a tornado warning with no confirmed. And there was a couple other things. There wasn't any roadblock things in there. So as of right now, I think it's really, really watered down to the point where it doesn't even make sense anyway. And I don't really understand why they'd want it to go through outside of running ambers and having the ability to run through a stop sign.
Let me ask you this, Jordan. The other big thing I saw that's changed, I'm gonna call it the Reed Timmer Amendment.
Yes.
I saw something about commercial chasers with PhDs that are conducting experiments. Am I safe in assuming that that's kind of where that's come from?
That was Reed's line, and they put it in there word for word with the PhD there. So, yes, that was so. Just in case this actually pushes through, we're still covered on the back side.
So if you're out there and you really want a license for some reason,
go get your PhD.
Yeah, call Reed Timmer and see if you can get on his team and throw some rockets up there for him, and he'll get you on board.
Good eye, Phil.
One of the things I noticed too that was interesting is it also calls out like educational institutions, research teams, right? So if we get another like Vortex project or something like that, they're going to have to go through and certify that. And so how is that done? Is it by car? Is it by team? Does the whole research group get one license? Is it individual? And why are they included in this? I'll let Jordan go first.
Well, first of all, these are great questions that probably should have been asked on the floor yesterday, in my opinion. So honestly, I think I don't even have an answer for that because I don't think it's specified enough in there, which blows my mind on how that bill even passes when there's so many. This bill's like big thing of Swiss cheese. There's so many holes. That
It's a nice analogy, man.
Through like
Hey,
so.
Jordan, on a personal level, did you have any experience in legislation prior to this? Like, this is all new for you?
Oh,
So
it was-
are you and Dan going into a consulting business now? Like, are you guys going to start consulting? Because if
That'd be
you're going to go
epic.
into consulting, Stormcat 5 can probably help you
Don't
out
do
if
it.
you're with your business model.
He is a
'cause-
consultant.
He is a
That's
consultant,
true. We do
yeah.
want to make sure everybody knows that. Yeah.
No, but seriously, Jordan, you didn't have any experience with this at all. It was just something that you felt, hey, I'm going to take this on, and you and Eric got together and you helped them work it out, or like, how did you get involved? Like that to me is as cool a story as anything here.
I was very frustrated because when this came out, I was like, what can I do? You know, I obviously at this point, there's a lot of people in the storm chasing community that come to my stuff for, news. And I feel like I can get attention a little better than other people can sometimes. I'm very outspoken at times. So when Eric was kind of getting a lot of heat for what was going on in there, but nobody really knew what was going on, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go see for myself. Can I go to one of these public, like, do they talk about this in public? And then that's when we met Dan. I think Scantlin brought Dan in, and Dan was like, this is all public stuff. You can attend. You just can't protest in person. And I think that was when myself, Sierra, Lindsay, Stephen Jones, and a couple of us went there in person. And then that was actually the day that I went into a representative's office with no experience and just got thrown into the fire there, confronted by David Payne and all that stuff. So it was fun.
Yikes.
Good for you. I'm going to reach out to you for advice because I'm about to do the same with all the Noah stuff. There's some really good questions that are coming through in the chat as well. So Carly UK, Mama G have lots of really good points and questions. And I'm just going to kind of read through a couple of them. And Dan, I'll kind of let you respond first to whichever ones of these you want, right? Like, what will happen if a chaser gets somewhere before emergency management or law enforcement is one really good question. Is this going to cause more false reports of confirmed tornadoes? Are people going to be calling stuff in that's not really there because they want to run a stoplight? Some of those things, they make a good point. Ask the people the questions, and they've got some really good ones. And those are two really good ones. So Dan, I'll let you address any of that you want to.
So what we get into here is a thing called ambiguity of the law, right? And there's assumption that there are two assumptions in lawmaking that either A, lawmakers can assume every edge case and be able to cover for it in laws, or B, in things regarding promulgation of rules that lawmakers won't be able to assume those things, and we get things called Chevron deference. Now at the federal level, Chevron deference has been done away with by Supreme Court hearing, but in the local level, that doctrine still exists to some extent. So, and there's a bill trying to do away with that at the local level. If the agencies, OHP, Oklahoma Highway Patrol, ODOT, are able to promulgate some rules about this, I think they will still have, superior rights on the road, right? If the anti-Chevron deference bill goes through, it gets a little murkier because they're not able to promulgate rules or take supremacy precedence, right? And as far as bad faith actors, right? I'm going to be real with you. I don't know how tornadoes are confirmed. I mean, I assume one of you all fine people drives in there and says, hey, look at that spinny thing, and then calls it into NWS. Obviously I probably couldn't do that. I think you have to be some sort of certified to do that, your own license or whatever on the topic. But if there is a little bit of that self-regulation in there, maybe it won't lead to more confirmed tours. But if there are some bad actors with that want king of the road privileges, maybe we do see some more false confirmed tornadoes on the ground, which I remember we had this big conversation when I took my statistics class back in grad school. It's like, one of the things that my professor talked about, and I have to apologize, I'm super long-winded because I work in politics. He talked about one of the projects he was working on. He was seeing if, when high-risk days bust, does that lead to more people ignoring them in the future, right? And if you have to think, if people always call in confirmed tornadoes when there aren't any, do people start taking that less seriously, right? And certainly, I don't think that's something we want to find out.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you. And, you know, speaking of tornadoes and making reports and counting the numbers of tornadoes that happen all the listen, guys, have you ever wanted to put your forecasting skills to the test? Well, now you can with the Weather Champs app. It's now available on the Apple App Store. Weather Champs isn't just any weather app. It's a forecasting game where you can predict the weather. Compete with friends and climb the ladder board to prove you're the ultimate weather champ. Whether you're a pro meteorologist or just a weather enthusiast, it's the perfect way to challenge yourself and have some fun with your friends. Download Weather Champs today from the Apple App Store and start showing off your forecasting skills. Plus, if you use the promo code WeatherFriend, that's all caps, WeatherFriend, one word, all caps, you will get 50% off a Champs Plus annual subscription. And listen, we had them on the show, I think about a year ago. It was a great show, great product, and a really fun app. And that is going to actually take us now to our first break. And we'll be right back with more details about the Chaser bill.
In a world where tornadoes and hurricanes and blizzards run rampant, destroying everything in their path, one man and one team of freaks stands in their way, covering it all on one show.
We have a confirmed tornado
From afar and from up close. That man is Storm Cat 5. That team is the Stormfront Freaks. And that show, this show, is Outbreak. And Outbreak starts when tornadoes or hurricanes or blizzards strike. I'll be here tracking it all. One team with one goal to keep you safe when it matters most. Come join us next time on Outbreak.
Wednesday, March 26th. Can any of you remember the last time there was a slight risk in Oregon and Washington? This part of the country is not used to getting severe weather. Now, zooming in on our risk here, that slight risk includes the cities of Seattle, Tacoma, Washington, Portland, Oregon, Salem, even Eugene, Oregon as well. So for those in the Pacific Northwest who may never have seen this graphic before, it just basically is like a 2 out of 5 alert level. Now, here's why we're so concerned. Check it out. We've got this 5% risk of tornadoes today. And that basically means you've got a 5% chance of seeing a tornado within a 25-mile radius of where you are, which is crazy for this part of the country. We normally don't see these kind of risks out here. You normally get those on the plains in Texas in the heart of severe weather season. Seattle, you're even in that 2% risk, so Seattle could get a tornado as well. Okay, so we took a look at that risk today. Let's take a look at the severe weather risks for this weekend and beyond. So after our storm system moves on the Pacific Northwest, things are relatively quiet for the back half of the week. Notice Thursday and Friday, we've got this ridge of high pressure that's still in place. That'll keep things relatively calm for a good part of the country. But then going into Saturday and Sunday, this is where things change in a big way. This is the 500 millibar level. I'm going to pause it right there. That is what we call a short wave, and that could be a catalyst for some severe weather. Now, I'm looking right now. This doesn't look particularly strong. So if we do want a widespread severe weather outbreak, this has got to trend stronger and stronger, which it could. We've seen it do it in the past. But that's our catalyst for severe weather on Sunday. And then going into Monday, we've got a bigger trough that digs down in the southeast, and that's why we could get some severe weather here along the East Coast on Monday night into Tuesday morning. All right, so let's look at the surface here. Who's going to get rain? Who's going to get snow? Who's going to get in on that severe weather action? Let's check it out. During the day, Wednesday, really not a lot going on. Maybe some rain down in Texas. Thursday, once again, more rain down in Texas, where from, say, Dallas into the south in Houston and Austin, flooding could actually be a pretty big concern. And once again, the Pacific Northwest is getting hammered by storm after storm. That'll continue all this week. Plenty of rain and snow out there. But like we talked about, for a good chunk of the country on Thursday, Friday, into Saturday, it should be relatively calm and quiet for many. You'll notice this snow stays primarily to the north in Canada. Maybe works its way into northern Maine and Vermont and New Hampshire. But Saturday is just a precursor. Notice how we've got some rain moving through the Ohio Valley. We could get a couple of rumbles of thunder here, but that is not our severe weather outbreak. That will instead come on Sunday. Check it out. I'm going to pause it here. Sunday evening, right there. We'll have a 997 low, so not really strong, but we will have a cold front here right in there where I'm drawing it. And that will be our initiator for some thunderstorms, some strong to severe thunderstorms. Now that cold front will continue pushing to the east on Monday, and we could get another round of severe weather right there, Monday afternoon into Monday evening, right along the coast. Going into next week on Tuesday and Wednesday, another storm system right there takes shape. We'll have another front there. We could get some severe weather along that. Really, the first week of April is going to be active. Okay, so let's take a look. The Storm Prediction Center has highlighted this area. This is a day 5 risk. And this is an incredibly large day 5 risk, so we're going to have to watch this. I think this area will shrink over time. More details are going to come, but no Sunday. All hazards from tornadoes, hail, and damaging winds are all possible. We'll have to watch the trends very carefully, and we should have a pretty good idea about Friday or Saturday what this event is actually going to look like, but know the potential is there for some very strong storms. And then as we go into Monday, the Storm Prediction Center has also outlined this area as that cold front slides off to the east. We could get severe weather from Washington, D.C. all the way down to New Orleans, Louisiana, and everywhere in between. So heads up. All right, so now for the rain and snow. Who's going to get the most rain during the week? Ding, ding, ding. The big winner will be Texas, where they could get several inches of rain, and flooding is going to be a big time concern. Now, another area that will receive a lot of rain is the Tennessee and Ohio valleys here, as this parade of low pressures moves through the country and brings with it all of that Gulf moisture and all of that precipitation. And this is normal for places like Ohio, Tennessee, Kentucky. You guys are used to seeing a lot of rain, but there could be some severe storms with it as well. I have to watch that very carefully. On the northern side of these storm systems, we could get rain, we could get snow, we could get a mix. We're not going to be talking about feet of snow, but you could get a couple of good snow events here or there with some ice mixed in, and it's never fun. All right, so let's take a look at temperatures here. 8 to 14 day, the first week of April is going to be well above average for a lot of the country, basically from Florida all the way up to the Dakotas. The only area that will be below average here is the Pacific Northwest. That's some cold rain in store. And Alaska. That just sounds cold. And then the 8 to 14 day precipitation, the first week of April looks to be pretty wet here for the Ohio Valley and Northeast, just like we had said, as well out here in the West, with Florida still not getting a lot of rain. I'm actually down here right now, and it's been over 2 weeks since I've seen a raindrop. Don't worry, I'm coming back to Ohio though, where it will probably be rainy, cloudy, and miserable. Woohoo!
Mesoscaleforecast.com brings us StormNet, a state-of-the-art deep learning model designed to revolutionize severe weather forecasting. The innovative tool is tailored to provide unparalleled real-time predictions of severe weather events, including probability of wind, hail, and tornadoes. And now they've added Hurricane Vision, a cutting-edge hurricane track and intensity prediction system that uses deep artificial intelligence to predict the track and future intensity of tropical cyclones. You've seen us use it on our Storm Front Freaks live outbreak coverage with meteorologist Stormcat 5. Now you can use it as well. Visit Mesoscaleforecast.com and access live data subscriptions. Plus, when you enter the code Stormfront, you'll receive a 10% discount for life. Yes, for life. Go to Mesoscaleforecast.com.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby.
I'm so hungry.
To get ourselves a treat.
All right. Welcome back to the Stormfront Freaks. Listen, I'm going to start off with I'm going to go back to a question for Jordan, but I gotta say, guys, after that first segment, I actually have a new goal in life, and that is I want to get Dan Williams out storm chasing in a storm chasing vehicle with the Stormfront Freaks. I want to get you underneath the mezzo of a rotating supercell thunderstorm. So good. It'll be so fun to have you out, Dan.
And then leave him there, right? Just be like,
yeah, that's what I
"Sorry."
mean. Yeah, just leave him there. Yeah, right on.
It wouldn't be the worst situation I've found myself in. After all, I've been inside the Oklahoma State Capitol. But
Well, that's kind of a tornado. But listen, Jordan, I want to start off our second segment with you, and I want to go back and just hit again just this idea about, like, you've probably heard it, and as soon as this law started being talked about, you heard the chatter online about, oh, it's illegal to go storm chasing. It's going to be illegal to go storm chasing in Oklahoma. The thing is let's make it really clear that even if this law passes this year, it has no effect because it doesn't take effect till November, correct?
Yeah, correct.
And I mean, even if it does pass, if not another word gets changed, I can still go storm chasing. I still have the freedom to go storm chasing in Oklahoma. It just that there's a group of people that are going to have some special considerations, and that's all we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. You got that 100% correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get that off, because there's so much like what social media is like. As soon as it started getting talked about, the ball just started rolling down the hill and just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
It snowballs really hard because then you get people calling representatives with false information, and then it bogs it all up, and then it makes everybody kind of look bad because then they're like, they don't even know what they're talking about, and we can't fix something if that's not what we're addressing anyway.
It's really hard, Jordan. How bad that snowballs, like hard,
Bad.
like big time hard. But I'm telling you, we've got one of the things that's happened since.
Man, really?
We're a bunch of 5-year-olds. Like we're a bunch we're a bunch of school children.
Oh, God.
We're talking about hard and balls and
You guys don't even see the private chat. This is insane.
I just tabbed to that and I was like, what's going on?
Everyone's in on the private chat.
My job tonight is to incapacitate Brady through laughter, and I'm doing a pretty good job.
So, but really with the bill, I think a lot that has changed, especially by it. And again, this isn't set though. That the bill, they've stricken the title from it or whatever, so it's still a work in progress. So, to me, all this stuff could go back in, but as of right now, they've taken that emergency vehicle portion off so that you don't have to pull over when you see them behind you. You can go by them if they're, sitting somewhere in the road. It's okay to go by them safely. Before, as an emergency vehicle, if that's what they were going to be classified as, you wouldn't be able to do that. And so I think that caused a lot of hard consternation, with people that just, which made sense, right? It's like, okay, you got to pull over for these guys. And if that stays out, I think that's a big portion of it. I still don't like the fact that you're legalizing people going through stoplights and speeding and going down the wrong way against traffic and being able to turn where normally you can't turn, all those kinds of things. They're basically legalizing it, and I've got a little bit of an issue. Go ahead, Jordan.
Phil, you remember about 10 minutes ago when Dan was using big words that none of us actually understood what he was. Do you guys remember that when he was?
There was a lot of big words. Yeah, I talk science words and government words.
So he might have already covered this question, but in the case where you license somebody and they've got green and yellow lights, which that's a whole other question why they pick green and yellow. But anyway, but you license somebody, they're out doing their thing. Let's say it all goes to plan, but as we all know, there are giant dicks everywhere, and somebody's going to be a giant dick. Somebody's going to use that power that they've been given in the wrong way, right? Like somebody's going to be overstepping what that licensure would allow for. Does the law or the bill as it's passed today, does it have anything in there to address those issues, Dan?
So, and I'm gonna get in trouble with this because I'm in my mama's house. Any provisions in the bill to address giant dickage? No, I don't think there is, and that's a real problem, right? We see this all the time when special regulation is passed. That everyone's gonna act in good faith, and we're not gonna worry about anybody, and then you literally a year later, like, okay, well, we didn't know anybody was gonna do that.
Right.
So let's tweak it a little bit. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. You didn't ask this question, but I'm going to answer it anyway. You probably are wondering why I bothered getting involved, right?
Yeah, I was going to ask that.
Yeah, I like to preempt people. It's a bad habit of mine. But not draw preemption legislation, which that's a very funny joke if you work in the political world. Anyways.
There are lawyers that are just rolling right now.
Oh yeah, there are lawyers and city attorneys that are just
I love that, Dan. I love that so much.
But why do I care, right? As has been mentioned before, I am not a storm chaser. I do not go around, looking for tornadoes. If anything, if I see if I see radar confirmed, if I see a confirmed, I'm noping out of there. I don't got anything to do with that. And it's not my area of expertise. I know what I need to, what I'm good at and what I'm bad at, and I'm, decent at driving. I don't need to add rain, thunder, and storm into that. But enough ado. The reason I'm involved, right? Mike Scantlin brought me into this. I saw he was talking about this, and Mike's a friend of mine. But really thinking about it, right? So I do, as an Oklahoman, of course, we all have personal connections to certain storms, right? And for me, it's the Piedmont F5, right? Back when that happened, my dad was city manager of the city of Piedmont, and I went up with him in the immediate aftermath to go help, all of 14 years old, thinking I could do anything. And I remember there were people trying to stop him from getting to Falcon Lake, right? And he was the city manager of the town, right? And he needed to be there to coordinate emergency response, right? So, immediately that popped in my head and was like, okay, what if a news chaser says, oh, no, nobody's allowed into this area. I got to get my news shots first. But then secondly, when we finally did get into Falcon Lake, the first people I saw were regular independent storm chasers who stayed behind pulling people out of the rubble, right? It wasn't some guy with a microphone that pulled that kid out of the rubble, pulled that young boy out of the rubble. It was an independent storm chaser. And disaster relief has been a real passion of mine for a long time. And when I was in scouting and doing a lot of that stuff, and certainly when more happened, all of that jazz. And I'm gonna sound real highfalutin and harumph. But when it comes to people's lives, right, that's why I'm in politics. I want to try to help people, and I know that all the politicians say this and yada yada yada. But really, those seconds count when it comes to those disaster situations. And what are we doing if we're impeding the people's ability who are volunteering their time to go into the worst situations we see in this state? Just so somebody can get a media shot. I think I'll live if I don't see a picture of a tornado, but I think somebody else who's got a board sticking through them isn't going to be able to live much longer if their person that's going to save them is stuck behind somebody recording a spinny piece of cloud. Excuse me, I got on my high horse there. I'll get back onto my soapbox instead.
No, it's a valid point, and it's one that I've seen in the comments in the chat as well. It's people who do this, it's not like it's really going to be used for good necessarily, or at least that's the fear or the assumption being made.
So Jordan and Dan, and I'll have Jordan go first. As we get to the end of this topic here, tell me, what do you really want to see happen with this? And if something were to have to take place, how would you write it? Or what would you just tear it up, run away and be like, oh my God, how would you handle it? Jordan first.
In my opinion, I think it's just a waste of time, waste of breath, in the Oklahoma government. So me personally, I would like to see it just die, the bill just die. But clearly it just got passed and going to Senate now. So the next best thing for me is obviously if it doesn't die is to make sure it's so watered down that it doesn't even really affect any of us outside of those who want to get a license to run amber lights and run a stop sign.
Gotcha. Okay, Dan, how about you?
So I'm right there. I'm right there with Jordan. They proposed the admitted language, which I think, the best thing about that is, watering down the bill, but also showing that the independent storm chasers are acting in good faith, right? That they're willing to meet the representatives halfway. But in reality, the legislature, God love them, we got to stop making random laws. There are something like 3,500 bills that were authored this session, and that's pretty light for a session. There are usually around 5,000 to 7,500 bills authored each session, right? And I really wish we would slow down and smell the roses here for a second, instead of just passing bills willy-nilly. We have a process in the Oklahoma legislature called the interim study, where we could have had people come together, independent storm chasers, media chasers, first responders, OHP, anybody could be invited to this, where we could have had a detailed discussion in public about the various aspects and tried to cobble together something that would make everybody the least mad. You're never going to make everybody happy in legislation, but
good stuff. Jordan, I'm going to give you the last word on this topic.
Yeah, I just wanted to point one last thing out. I know we had talked about what happens if people try to abuse it and report like false tornadoes or whatever before the first break. Something that was pointed out to me, and I just want to bring it up, is if this did become a law, that now means whoever gets that license is held to that law. They now have a standard they're held to, which means when you report somebody for reckless driving or abusing that, they are actually held to a fine and a standard that they can actually get targeted for by the government and law enforcement. So for those that are fighting super hard for this law to get passed and this bill to really go through, the last thing they're likely going to want to do is to lose those privileges. And I believe that'll probably be the standard that keeps them from really going out of their way to abuse it.
So wait. If people report fake tornadoes, I think there should be a new bill that maybe should be written about this. What do y'all think? Maybe
throw as many bills as we can. We might as well, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. So, last question I've got. Dan, can you tell me, I guess, the next step for this bill? What has to happen for it to go to vote, or what direction it's going at this point? And then, second, how can Oklahoma residents get a hold of their senator or get a hold of the governor now at this point to kind of let them know that they would prefer to not be limited to how many different people can access and get privileges to transmit storms and to broadcast these tornadoes?
So one thing I always tell people is to look up their senator, look up their member and a representative. There is a tool on the website, on the legislature's website, called the District Finder. You click into that, you click into the district overlay, and you can enter your address, and it'll tell you who your members are, right? And then call them, literally call them. Leave voicemails, send emails. That's what I was doing this past go-around. I mean, that's how I talked to most of the members about the bills. I would just call them and call them and call them. And, I know all the legislative vernacular and yada, 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 and they've seen me in and around the Capitol. But the question I always got was, well, Dan, are you one of my constituents? Right? And while they didn't hang up on me after I told them no in most cases, it is more valuable if you live in a person's district when you talk to them. But the main thing is, as far as what's coming forward, now we go through the same process in the Senate. The bill will have to go through a policy committee. I don't know which policy committee it will be assigned to. That is up to the floor leader, Senator Julie Daniels from Bartlesville. After that has been assigned, it will then, I believe, since it has a fiscal impact, it will have to go through the secondary committee of appropriations, which is led by Senator Chuck Hall. And then if it passes through that, which is a little larger, it will go to the Senate floor. However, I would like to point something out that was mentioned earlier. The title was struck it is likely that when the Senate, if it gets all the way to the Senate and the Senate passes it, they will put the title back on there. It is in this process that we run into something that doesn't happen very often, conference committee, where we'll get another set of chances in both the House and the Senate to defeat it on the floor. And let me tell you, I've killed bills that have gone to conference committee before. So I am going to be fighting this thing until the governor signs it. Yeah, it sucks that it passed the House, but it is also very encouraging that there's so many people against this. And to be honest, the dynamics are a little bit different in the Senate now that Mark Mann has the bill, since he is a Democrat and in the minority party, and a freshman at that, as opposed to Fettgetter, who was a veteran member of the legislature in the majority. So that decreases the chances of it moving.
Well, thank you, Dan. You guys know what that sound means.
What is that?
It's time for the lightning
It's time
round.
to unmute your mic. Yeah, and it's time for the lightning round. This is our game show of flashy and brilliant questions that we play with our guests. And tonight, we're playing a fam fave, because it's called Family Feud Late Night Edition. Yeah, Family Feud Late Night Edition. So as you currently see yourselves on the screen, these are our teams. So team number 1, led by Jordan, has Stormcat 5 and Maz. Team number 2, led by Dan, has WX Serena and Greggles. So, folks, I'm going to start with Jordan. Top 7 answers on the board. Name a child's game adults change the rules to when they play.
What does he know?
I don't even know what that is. Uno?
I had to say what is. I thought it was
no. That's Jeopardy. This is Family Feud. I'm like,
you know what? They get an X just for the fact that he didn't even know what Family Feud.
What is Uno? What game is What is Uno? I don't know what is Uno is. Like that's
Greggles
not a
gets
game.
very competitive. Very
but
quick.
that's an X. So Brady, what the hell's going on? You're on here twice now.
I literally, it is, my internet is dying, and this is like the end of the world here. I don't know what's happening.
Me out, man. All right, Brady. Top one X or one strike. Top 7 answers on the board. A child's game that adults change the rules to when they play.
Brady,
you got to unmute yourself.
Unmute Brady.
Wait, am I starting?
No, you missed. You probably missed the last 5 minutes.
I missed the entire thing.
But it's to you. Give me an answer.
Bob Marley. I really missed the entire thing.
Naz.
So happy I'm on Greg's team.
All right, how about Monopoly?
Monopoly. That is correct. That's number 3 on the board is Monopoly. All right, Jordan, back to you. 2 strikes. Child's game that adults change the rules to when they play.
Oh, that would have helped.
God, I feel terrible.
Think adults. Why would adults change the
Monopoly.
rules to this game?
Okay, Steve Harvey.
I know I got to.
That's a good one. No, that's a good one.
All right, Dan, you guys, your team can steal if you can think of any of the other 6 answers that haven't been.
Okay. I'm gonna guess Twister.
You're gonna guess Twister.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's a good one. Yeah. So adults often change the rules to
hide
and seek.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cards.
Yeah.
Tag. Spin the bottle.
Whoa,
I don't know that I've ever played that with children, but
and truth or
that's a
dare.
weird one.
Greg's always played adult rules on that one. I guess.
Oh man.
All right.
I'm gonna have nightmares.
All right, Dan, your team is up. Top, what do we got? 7 answers on the board again. Name something you like to do naked.
Don't ask me this
I'm gonna go
question,
for
please.
take a shower.
Take a shower. Looking. Yep, that is number 1. Bathe or shower. Very good.
Hey.
And I'll preface this as I go down the row here, and I'm going to go to Serena because I think it's important that we tell Serena This doesn't mean this is something you like to do naked. This is the survey people that they asked. Like,
Very true. Very true.
I
usually shower in a full suit. That's what.
Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. All right, Serena, you still have 6, 2 through 7 on here.
Well, Dan took my answers for both of the first two, so I got to think now. Let's see. Wash the dishes.
I'm going to give you clean.
What?
Clean naked.
See, some people like to. I mean, I don't know who they are, but you know.
My friend tells me all the time that she likes to do the dishes naked.
I believe you are a French maid.
All right, Greggles, you still got 5 more answers.
I'm gonna say sexy time.
What's that?
A little sex, a little sex, folks, kids. Put the earmuffs on.
Careful,
all
you're
right.
gonna get this podcast banned by the legislature.
Dan, we would have been banned a long time ago. Thank God we're not FCC regulated. That's all I have to say. So, Dan, we're back to you. Number 2, 3, 5, and 7 are still on the board.
I dare you to say Uno.
Same question. Okay, same question. Okay.
Same question. Naked. Think naked. Naked.
Let's see.
Naked.
I'm going to say sunbathe.
That's correct. Number 5.
Ooh,
number 5 on the board. You guys, no strikes yet on this. You guys know what people like to do naked. That's impressive.
Y'all are naughty.
All right, Serena.
Thank God there's no one doing that down here.
Sleep.
Yep.
That's number 2.
What?
Number 2.
What was it? What was it?
Sleep.
Oh, sleep.
All right, Greggles, think naked. What do people like to do naked?
I'm gonna go with weigh yourself.
Wow, really?
It was a good one, Greg.
No.
It was a good one.
No. All right, that's your first strike. So, Dan, back to you.
Oh. We got one
Still
more,
have number 3 on the board and 6 and 7 on the board.
Let's see here. Let's go for. Go a little weird. Eat.
Oh. You know what? No, that's not on there. But I take it back. You only have number 3 and number 7. You only have 2 left.
Gotcha.
Oh man, hot soup.
7.
Ooh, that's
all right, Serena. That was strike 2.
Oh no, it's going to be the third one.
Soup. Coffee. That coffee would hurt.
Oh, spilled.
What about like if you were getting or giving a massage?
Ooh.
That's
a
you
have to say it like if you were
getting
a massage.
What if you were getting or giving a massage?
That's a problem.
Oh man.
That would be wrong. All right, Jordan, up to you. There's 2 left. Number 3 and number 7. Name something you like to do naked. You guys can still steal it back.
Skinny dipping?
Skinny dipping or swimming.
Oh,
that's correct.
Oh, nice.
Well done. All right, we'll call. I think we'll go ahead and call that one
fishing.
Call that one a tie, I think. All right, let's quick do this. Jordan, let folks know where they can find you and
they can
your
find
big
me here in the
Cheez-Its.
state of Oklahoma. Jordan Hall WX on all social medias.
Okay. Dan, where can people find and follow you?
So I'm at Dan ODPVC on Twitter. I am running for political office. I'm running for vice chairman of the Democratic Party of Oklahoma. And you can find me at Dan for ODPVC, our vice chair on Facebook. That's my Facebook page. Also, my personal account is at SpartanD34, but I don't really use that anymore. So, yeah, that's where you can find me.
Smash the vote button. Smash the vote button, everyone.
All
Not the
right,
subscribe button.
gang.
Smash the vote button.
Thank you, Jordan and Dan. Listen, guys, we're going to take our last break. So put the kiddos to bed. It's time for Adult Swim with Weather Fools and Trollbot. Trollbot's coming up.
Oh, no.
The Stormfront Freaks is now available on the Weather Store. Come shop our catalog of shirts, hats, and hoodies, all with our Stormfront Freaks logo and Outbreak logo. Plus, you'll find all your other favorite weather geek and storm chasing gear, footwear, and accessories. Visit the Weather Store at thewxstore.com, the exclusive supplier of the Stormfront Freaks.
Step into the storm with VirtuWeather software. Experience lifelike virtual weather through awe-inspiring visualizations and real-time physics-driven simulations. Whether you're a streamer or a broadcaster, captivate your audience with an impossibly immersive experience of live weather like never before. The future of weather visualization is here. See it on Stormfront Freak's Outbreak storm coverage this season.
Hey, this is meteorologist Jim Cantori from the Weather Channel. I am a weather geek, and I am listening to the Stormfront Freaks podcast. You should too.
Let's take a drive under the somber sky. Let's take a drive under the moon.
All right, you know what time it is. It is time for Weather Fools. This is one of my favorite segments. This is a great one where we are able to find people who maybe make some choices that make them eligible for Darwin Awards. So that's always fun and cool. So we've got a couple that we have here tonight. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and start with Phil. Should we do your Weather Fool this evening?
Sure, let's do my Weather Fool. I always have to bring, anytime I find these Weather Fools, have to bring the worst thing I hate in the world. Anybody know what that might be?
Oh,
As I'm
parking
storm
under
chasing.
Look at these assholes.
Totally the
Seriously.
overpass.
You really? I need to go here.
So yeah, so here we
You're
are.
just
Here's
gonna
a
block the road.
chaser coming up to an overpass, and everybody's blocking the frickin' road.
Ugh.
It makes me laugh because I've been this guy, like losing it on.
Fuck!
Whoops.
Sorry, what did he say?
Yeah, I don't know.
Fuck!
Truck.
Truck.
Oh,
There you
you're
go.
saying there's
way.
a truck in the way.
Just in
Truck in the
case,
way.
yes.
I hate when people do this.
Hey! You're blocking traffic! This is an escape route! There's no hill! Somebody back up and do it right now!
Ooh, he used mom voice.
Whoa.
That was parent voice, man. That was impressive.
Phil, he's channeling his inner Phil there.
Yes. He just needs a bat. That's all he needs is a bat.
I've heard that voice, man.
We're okay.
That was pretty good. Oh my god. All right.
Jordan
Hey,
say he's done that before?
Oh yeah.
He had this script there. Hey, Maz, like he knew exactly what he was going to say.
Yeah, we're gonna need another house bill. I'm just saying.
You're right. We can co-author that together, Maz.
Yeah.
Seeing here, I was gonna say that's one of those lines you like rehearse naked in the shower. Anyway, Greg, let's go ahead and get to your Weather Fools.
All right, I don't know which one Phil's gonna pull up here first, but they're both pretty awesome. I've got a couple here. This first one, the guy's on a golf cart.
Oh Jesus!
And there's some flooding on the golf course. And what do you think happens? Surprise, surprise! Turn around, lose your golf cart.
Oh my god!
Oh, that's gonna cost him a few bucks.
Yeah.
Hopefully he got his clubs out.
You know, I always wondered what a golf cart would look like in a flood. But
you guys have all been on
worse.
a golf course. Like, somebody was going to try to do that going across that water.
Hopefully they got the free
Better not have
towels
a
out of the
Tesla
golf cart.
battery in it.
Play it where it lies.
Oh,
okay, the second one comes from South Carolina. Guy, preparing the lawn, springtime or whatever, spark, and now the whole lawn starts going up in flames. I actually saw, I saw about 3 of these videos today. I just picked one of them because they're all kind of the same. But apparently this is a thing. I can't even imagine this happening, but apparently your lawn's going to go up. And think about how easy it would for your house to go up if it got close to the house there as well.
Oh,
how did it start?
Just like a guy using a lawnmower.
Is that a weed whacker? Yeah.
Caused
Like
a
a weed
spark,
whacker?
and then the whole lawn goes up.
It's dry. I don't even know how we'd have any.
I think the guy trying to put it out with his foot is kind of the weather fool here, though.
He should stop, drop, and roll over it. Might put it out.
That's a great point. I think that would work.
You a funny weather fool I droned last year. He was trying to took a shirt off his back. I droned him. He's smacking the fire with this T-shirt.
Oh,
Gotta use
okay.
Was that a lawn service? That was a lawn service, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
It was, yeah.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, I bet the reviews on Google are really good after that one. All right, I brought
5 stars.
5 stars. All right, I've got 3 weather fools here that I found tonight. All of mine are on TikTok. It's been a hot minute since I brought a weather fool. Boy, are there a lot of them out there. Okay, thank you for muting that. This is a guy who rode out a tornado outside. Now, okay, yes, you see his 4-wheeling thing get blown back. But just wait a second, because when I say he rode out the tornado outside,
Oh my God.
you think I'm
Oh my
kidding, and I
God.
am not.
Oh my God.
This guy literally is
live?
riding out the tornado. Oh yeah, outside. Look at this. Look at the debris. Look at the insulation, chicken feathers, because it's the pieces that are whipping by.
Serena, have you ever been anywhere like within a mile of a chicken barn?
I
Can
have,
you imagine
but-
the feces and like
Oh, it
crap that's
stinks. It proper stinks.
But it's bad.
Like
so
feels
this guy,
like it's that scene out of Twisters, you know, where the chicken lands on the hood
On
of
top of
the
yeah. Not many
It's like
of those, but
Buffalo
anyway.
Wild Wings dream over here. They got all these chickens now they could just cook up.
This is behind the scenes of how chicken nuggets are made at McDonald's.
No, don't ruin it for me. Please don't.
Don't ruin Brady's nuggies.
The nuggies.
Please
Oh,
don't.
so McDonald's has the weather machine. Finally, we found it.
We have our
Stop.
answers. Anyway,
Oh my
okay,
God.
here's another one. So this guy's
Whoa.
skiing and there is an avalanche coming. Now, I can talk to you all day long about avalanches and their danger. And if I were in this chair, I would be very much not happy. He's an accidental wonderful, but he pulls the shield down. He's like, I am now safe and protected. Luckily for him, this did slow down quite a bit and there's still people skiing by. But tell you what, to be a skier on that mountain or to be on that lift and seeing this avalanche coming towards you, oh man, that'd be
the
rough.
lift is still moving too, right?
Still moving. Once
Yeah.
he'll get into the clouds here. See, they just stopped the lift,
Oh.
and now you're going to see the clouds come over. So it's dissipated, right? So now you're just dealing with like the blowing snow and not the avalanche itself. But could you imagine? Goodness gracious,
Oh my.
Where was this?
I don't know.
It was on a mountain, Maz.
Are we
There's
sure?
not a mountain.
That one was AI.
Yeah. And then the last one is just a compilation of people who love to stand outside for lightning. And as severe storm season starts again, let's not do that, please. Okay, Greg's raises his hand. I know. But let's just, lightning can strike incredibly close. And so it's just an entire compilation of people that are outside in places where they just shouldn't be. So look at the beautiful view. Look at that stormy sky. And everybody just runs. So, like I said, it's a whole compilation. But just remember your lightning safety, people, please.
Okay,
Right
real
there.
talk.
People
Real
need
talk.
lightning triggers.
If there's one thing
I
I've-
have to,
if
I have
there's
to
one
tell
thing
you
I've got-
guys that if you've ever chased with Brady, his reaction is exactly like that for every lightning strike.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Dan, I heard you were saying something.
I gotta be honest. If I was ever a weather fool, it would be for this one, because I always go out fulgurite hunting after lightning, or during a lightning storm, trying to find them. Trying to find that fused sand and stuff. So, been a little too
Interesting.
close a couple times.
All right. Good to know. All right. So we may see Dan on a future episode of Weather Fools. If you enjoyed these Weather Fools or would like to see them for yourself, head over to stormfrontfreaks.com. Pull up the show notes for episode 232. All right. And we also have Trollbot. Trollbot is making its return this evening. Now, I think this is a favorite segment of Puntmon. Like all the Stormfront freaks, I see lots of head shaking.
Except for Maz.
Except
Oh, Maz.
Maz. Maz. Come on.
Trollbot.
Say no.
You were in TV, man. You know how good
Say no
Trollbot
to
is.
Trollbot.
Oh, I know.
I'm so curious about what's about to happen.
Oh, you should be.
I'm just going to let Phil
Buckle up,
take it from
buddy.
here. Go ahead, Phil.
You
Tell
should
us
be.
what
All
you
right.
found this week.
So Trollbot, we found Weather Trollbot 5000 at a garage sale. We've just kind of repurposed her over the years to be able to interpret the thoughts of our weather friends when they're trying to respond on social media to these trolls, right? And we all know most people on our weather, they're usually really nice about responding back, and they use nice words kind of, and they're usually pretty kind, a little sarcastic, but usually kind. But we know that's not what they were really thinking. And so Trollbot helps us interpret what they were really thinking when they got trolled. So I'm going to start with the first one. This is kind of a little bit of a thread, but it's actually a troll towards Hurricane Chaser Josh Morgerman. But it actually started, I got this from Fuzzy. It started with Ryan Hall, and he made a post that for just $3 of your tax dollars a year, the National Weather Service, part of NOAA, saves countless lives and billions in damage from their forecasts. It's the best bang for your buck in government spending, if you ask me. And so,
seems reasonable.
Yeah,
Love
very
it.
much so. And Josh followed up and said, hey, Ryan hits the nail on the head. Our National Weather Service, it's the best in the world, and we enjoy all that it offers for dirt cheap. If you're looking for government waste, this ain't the place.
Exactly.
Sound like a rap. If you're looking for government waste, this ain't the place.
Mm.
But Troll Mish, his name's Mish, or her name, Mish, said, who the F still watches that crap? Boomers. That's pretty much it, because it's all they've ever known. They weren't ever able to find information all their own. Dude, get an Encyclopedia Britannica and then come and see me, okay? He didn't say that.
I'm a boomer. That was funny.
That's just me. They didn't have it at their fingertips like we do. And so Josh comes back and says, hey, a model example of how uninformed people are. Like to find the info on your own? Cool. Literally every weather app you use is 100% dependent on satellite, radar, surface obs, recon data, and computer models provided by, wait for it, the National Weather Service.
Oh.
Right. All right. So here's what we do. For those of you who don't know Trollbot, is Josh was pretty nice, right? How he responded to that moron. But we know that's probably what he wasn't thinking. So what we do is we plug all this information into Trollbot, and she's going to spit out what Josh was really thinking. So here we go. Got to type it in.
You can use this, Dan, in the ledge, too.
Yeah.
This is a
And
really
then Trollbot
fast
has to compute. Takes her a little while.
Here's what Josh was really thinking. What a fucking dipshit. This is what's wrong with people. They think the weather forecast at their shit-stained fingertips comes from little fucking elves in their phones. Wake up, you fart knocker. All that information comes from the little elves at NOAA and the NWS.
I think that. I think
Fart
weather
knocker.
comes from elves.
Fart knocker is my new favorite non-swear swear. That's a good one.
There you go, Dan.
Oh my
There
God.
you go.
So how much do I gotta pay you for that? Like, we're in
That's
deadline
free.
right now.
No,
It's-
Trollbot is under lock and key, man. She only comes out every once in a while.
She's a little scary.
That's too bad. Because let me tell you, I'm watching the legislature for like 12 hours a day right now. Oh my goodness.
What were they
Michelle
really thinking?
Trollbot.
We could reprogram Trollbot. It could be
That's a good
legislative
question.
Trollbot 5000.
We should bring Trollbot to the Oklahoma state floor. I think we should just have Trollbot testify.
I just can't wait for after Dan. He's going to be making notes on something. It'll be like so-and-so, comma, FK, short for like fart knocker. Spoke about.
All right, I got one more for you all. This is this I got from Hunter, and this was Daniel Shaw. You guys know Storm Chaser down in Australia comes up to the States during spring storm season, but he was chasing down in
He's here
his
now.
home country of Australia, and was streaming this on YouTube. And Batchfin came in and said, filming through the window with the wipers on is rough to watch. Had to skip that part. And so Daniel comes back, right? Maybe a little sarcastic, but pretty nice, and says, I would like to offer my sincerest apology for using my windshield wipers and not standing in the rain with close lightning yesterday. I promise to do better.
And I can hear it in his
Right,
his
like
voice.
you can hear the.
Right.
You would say it
So,
I can hear it.
yeah, so we're going to plug this in. We
Yeah.
got to plug it into Trollbot, and we're going to see what Daniel was really, I guess, thinking about. So let's type this in.
Fast typer.
She's got to compute.
Here's what Daniel was really thinking. Hey, fuck face. It's also hard to watch storms when you're fucking dead from lightning. So forgive me if you have to suffer through seeing the storm like I do through the windshield at times. So glad you and that pity dick in your mouth tuned into the stream.
That sounds like Daniel, actually, if you know Daniel.
Pity dog. What is that?
Well, gang, I think that just about does it for this episode of the Stormfront Freaks podcast.
Pity dog. What is that?
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in, watching, listening, however you get our content. But listen, do us a favor. If you love this show, hit the follow or subscribe button and help us get discovered by sharing this episode on your social media. Thanks to our guest tonight. Listen, the awesome, very talented Jordan Hall and our newest member of the Stormfront Freaks clan, Dan Williams. Thank you very much, Dan, as well. And Freaks, let's tell everyone how everyone can follow you. Let's start off with Stormcat5, Brady.
Just go on the internet and search for that, and you'll find me.
All right, Maz.
All right, you can find me on X at MoneyStorm for you. That's at MoneyStorm, the number 4, the letter U.
And how about our author and storm chaser, Serena?
Yeah, so everything for me is at WX Serena, WXCYRENA, mostly on TikTok. Guys, I'm about to pass 100,000.
Whoa! Very nice.
Crazy. So find me because I want to pass that with my Weather Weenies and Stormfront Freaks.
Right on,
yeah,
and-
Facebook, Instagram, and all that. And also, by the way, hashtag Save Noah.
All right on. And Vin Diesel, Phil, how about you?
I am Groot. Yeah, I'm spending most of my time on Twitter at Stormfront Freak, but I'm also on Blue Sky. Search Stormfront Freaks there.
Right on. Well, listen, guys, next episode, have you wanted to learn more about how to storm chase or touch up on your skills? We'll have Trey Greenwood and Gabriel Harbour here to share their Storm Chaser coaching program on Thursday, April 10th at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. The live YouTube show will be available to our Patreon supporters. The audio podcast will be available, as usual, on the weekend on your favorite podcast player. For those of you watching or still watching at this point, stick around for our after show party. And for Jordan, for Dan, for Stormcat5, Serena, for Maz, for Phil, and all you other hard fart knockers out there, I'm giving the all clear.
Stop.
Wow.
Thank you for tuning in to the Stormfront Freaks podcast. Our bi-weekly show is available on your favorite audio podcast player and on YouTube, along with videos from Stormcat5 at youtube.com/stormfrontfreaks. Patreon team members can watch the live recording session and access other great member benefits. For Patreon details, show notes, past shows, videos, merchandise, and more, visit our website at stormfrontfreaks.com. While you're there, check out our interactive radar from our friends at zoomradar.com. If you would like to contact us with questions or make comments about the show, shoot us an email to questions@stormfrontfreaks.com or follow us on X or Blue Sky. Search for Stormfront Freaks. We'd love to hear from you. Join us next time and tell a friend about the Stormfront Freaks podcast.
How you doing, Brady? Was that a hard show, Brady?
Fart knockers, that was awesome.
We still.
How do you come up with this shit? Oh.
You know, in the old days, we didn't use the letter K in fart knockers. It was just FN.
Hey, Brady, can I pull your tail out?
Right, Mama G?
Oh,
I'm
Philly, we
sorry.
can't hear you, man. Dude.
He's not saying
He's not even muted.
I was saying, great job tonight, Dan. And Jordan, as always, awesome. Thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, it was
Hey,
super
happy
fun.
to be
Thanks,
here.
guys.
Happy to be here.
Thanks.
We're new besties. I feel like I can do hard thing with you. Like, you love you guys. You're amazing.
It's wrong side.
That
Greg's
was-
not there to do it for you.
We're not side by side.
Here.
Something like that. Something.
Greg,
Well,
have to go to the bathroom.
Some set of balls right now.
Mama G.
Three.
Who's
StreamYard's
got balls? What was that? Whose balls?
I said, look like Phil was trying to cup some balls.
Senor Pelota.
or he's trying to pull
bro.
Brady's tail from up there and see if it pops.
Could be doing that.
Oh my God, I can't reach.
Just pull
Here we
really
go.
hard. Here.
It's behind Serena right now.
Gosh.
Oh, hold
I'm
on.
taking care of Brady.
Stop.
You really want
Sarah,
to
stop watching.
Dan's never coming back.
No. Trust me. This isn't anywhere near.
Because
some
I
of the
witnessed
foul
this
stuff
on the
I see
House
in
floor
politics.
every day.
Oh my god.
You are at your mom's house, remember.
Greg, I don't even know how to begin to summarize
missed
what
it.
you've missed.
Oh, you just
Okay,
missed
here.
all that.
Can I tell you?
I'll recap.
I had to-
I'm taking care of Brady.
I had to pee. I had to pee.
What do I do?
I had to pee so bad, and while I was peeing, I thought of the best answer for things that you do naked.
No.
Oh, here we go. Come on.
Host the Stormfront Freaks podcast.
Oh.
There it is.
You can tag, you can tag the
We got to increase our viewership. That might be the way to do
All
it.
you need is a crop top.
Hey, do you guys ever see, like, in Italy, they do that, like, there is the naked weather? Do you ever see that? They do the naked news thing?
I have seen that before.
Yeah.
That was I saw it in like
Germany.
Was it Germany?
11th grade or
Was it
something.
I was gonna say.
Are they still doing that?
Germany? I don't know.
Did you have cell phones
in the world?
What's that,
No.
Jordan?
Did Phil even have internet in 11th grade?
He did dark web.
Oh, jeez.
He did dark web. Dark web. Yes, I snuck that in there. Yes.
Dark web. That's
Oh,
that's
my
where I
God.
was introduced to the dark web, Brady. Yep.
Yes.
11th grade.
I didn't have an iPhone until college. So
I had a router, a phone modem. That's what it was. It was a modem. I couldn't think of what the word was. Jordan, I had a modem.
Well, Brady, we just got internet up here in Canada, like in 2021.
Yeah, I believe it.
I need to come up to Canada and chase this year. I really need to. So.
oh,
You know
I'm
what?
so
when
in.
in June and July, it's actually pretty awesome up here because
That's
there is zero chaser convergence
You say
anywhere.
that, just
See-
watch.
Yeah,
See, Greg, the
yeah,
problem
yeah.
is every time you leave, there's always a tornado in Canada that you miss.
It is.
It's
That is
just-
actually
it's just-
absolutely true. So I take 2 weeks every summer, and I head out to Newfoundland, and I do these photography tours where I take people out, and every time I leave, there is tornadoes here.
It's like
on the
clearwork.
prairies. Yeah, every year
like clockwork.
it happens.
Yeah.
But anyway.
It's unfortunate.
Oh,
Greg, are you in Ontario? Where are you?
No, I'm in Saskatchewan.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm nowhere near you guys.
I had a friend run for office in Saskatchewan.
Where?
Swift Current.
No kidding. You know? Wait a second. You know of the place called Swift Current?
Yeah, a friend run for
Saskatchewan?
office there. Yeah,
Wow.
the writing down there.
Oh wait a second. I know who it is too. Let me tell you who it is. His name is Everett.
Well, that's the incumbent.
Yeah. Oh, is he not? Oh, he's running now.
No, he ran. He lost because
Oh.
he's a new Dan.
Oh.
No, all good. He was happy to
Damn.
run and just try it.
No, it's
Good
a
learning
young
experience.
guy who is the incumbent there, and he's a conservative, which in Canada is basically means he's super left wing. But that's our right wing, you know. He's super left wing. He wants free health care for everybody, you know.
Yeah, y'all got an election coming up, right?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah.
I got to come out there and do an election sometime.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting. We have a totally different system though. Like the parliamentary system is like we don't actually elect our prime minister. We elect our individual members in whatever riding you're in, whichever like region you're in, and then within those elected members, they then select who's going to be the leader of the party and make them the prime minister. Does that make sense? So there's no actual.
It's just
there's no. It's like Britain, right? Same idea.
Yeah, it's like how they choose a speaker in the Congress.
Yeah.
Greg, if you ran, I would be behind you. I would
Is
be
that your daughter, Jordan? Is that your daughter?
manager? That Sierra
You'd
is
be
in the
behind Greg.
background. She's lurking.
Little reach around there, Stormcat. Is that what you're saying?
Speaking of behind you, did she give you COVID? What's the deal?
She gave me COVID.
Oh, see.
We went to a concert, and then the people next to us made a comment that was like, even if this was COVID, I'd still be here anyway. And then apparently,
Gosh, yeah. See, that's why I don't do concerts, right?
Was the concert worth it? Like, who was it, Jordan?
It was her favorite artist, Tyler the Creator, and it was really good.
Tyler who?
Tyler,
let's go.
It was
What's he creating? It sounds like he's just creating COVID, right? It sounds like it's just a COVID. I just like you either getting COVID or you're getting stuff squirted in your eyes at concerts. It's just not good. That's
Brady, what in the hell are you going to? That's
listen. I've never been to a concert before because I've heard nightmare stories. You're getting stuff squirted into your eyes, like like ecstasy or something. And I'm just like, that's why I don't go to concerts.
They're squirting ecstasy in your eyes. I'm sure that's what
I've
they're
heard.
doing.
That's what I've heard goes on at these concerts. In this case, it was COVID. They were squirting COVID into your eyes.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
I don't know. They gonna be COVID.
Carly, I was thinking
I don't know.
I got 10 victories in Fortnite.
Oh no!
What
we're
did
talking
she say?
Fortnite. Now we're really getting off the rails.
I got 10 victories.
Me, Jordan, and Sierra play Fortnite together sometimes. So if anyone else is here that wants to play, you guys are invited.
No, not Fortnite.
You know what,
I play the
Brady?
classics.
My 14-year-old kid might, but
no. I play Halo.
All right, give her my gamer tag.
Halo.
Oh yeah.
I've heard of that one too.
The last gamer tag I'm giving my kid is yours.
Hey, if anybody ever really wants to get crazy, come on over. We'll play Pac-Man all night. And
that is Pac-Man. Do you remember the old school 2-seater one where your one's on either side with the flat screen that were in the Pizza Huts?
Oh yeah, I remember.
What is happening? This is not good.
Pull your tail out, Brady.
This is not good. This is not good.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it was a fun
I'm
night.
gonna end the stream. I think just so I know people are probably enjoying this as much as we are. But
I don't know.
Thanks for joining us
Everyone's
tonight,
gonna be
everybody.
upset. Yeah. You guys were amazing tonight.
Thanks, everyone.